Welcome, welcome, welcome. Sports Talk Live for the culture. Good day, fellas. How y'all doing?
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Beautiful day in the neighborhood. We got a full house in here.
Full house. It's tight. We tight in here today.
Tight in here today. Definitely. Sports Talk Live from the Ranch. Sports Talk for the culture. We have a guest today, Mr. Jason Hicks.
Special guest.
Special guest.
What's happening, brother?
There, Mr.
Not
Jason. Football royalty over there. And, from New Jersey, Pennsauken Indians, quarterback for 1984 team of the century out of Jersey.
Team of the century.
Great player, University of Miami. We're going to get on all of that. He got the backstories, he got the understories, he got the overstories. he got everything you wanted to know. We're going to get into all that. Definitely. Today. Andre, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Doug, you in the building? Doug's on a short leash.
I'm here.
Wifey B-Day today, so you got to take care of that. Duke in the building.
What's up?
Jonathan, how's it going, fellas?
We even got Rob on the bench.
We got Rob on the bench in the background. How's it going? He the nation. He's like there. You know, you got to have a good bench. That's what the Sixers need. We can talk about that. The thing right now, before we jump into the stories with the U and everything, little basketball is going on today. Final Four, NCAA.
The madness. It's been mad too.
March Madness, the Final Four. You got a lot of teams in there that we thought were going to be there. Duke, North Carolina, that didn't make it. Out of all the teams out of ACC, the number one seeds is just Virginia left. An interesting story. Virginia got knocked out last year. The first number one seed to lose to a 16 seed in the history of the NCAA tournament. And to come back this year and make it to the Final Four, it's kind of a testament. I mean, I think that's the whole thing what sports is about. You get knocked down, and your coach said, look, we got to own it. You know, we definitely got to own it. We're the first number one to lose to a 16 and come back to the Final Four the following year. They play a different kind of style. They slow it down. The games are low scoring. That matchup against Auburn is going to be interesting. Do you think Virginia can finish the deal, win these two games, and walk out, which would definitely be a 30 for 30? Because
without a doubt.
You losing, the 16 last year and come back to win a national championship. How do you guys feel about that? What do you think?
Well, I'm gonna just put this out there. If it's 4 teams left, then you can win. You can win it all. You did something to get where you're at, right?
Yeah.
If any of these teams win it all, I won't be surprised, because like we just got finished talking about a little while ago how things happen. We watched, was that Auburn last week?
Shot the lights
17 threes.
Yeah, 67% from three-point line.
I mean, you're gonna win every game, but guess what else can happen to you? You don't have to have that same production, and somebody else can too. That's just the gift and the curse. So, hey, listen, it's gonna be some good basketball played, and if you come out not on top of your game, you're going home. It's just as simple as that.
And it's a one and done scenario.
One and done.
So you're not playing in a scenario where it's the best out of 7, best out of 5. So anything can happen on any night.
I think anybody can win. I mean, we've seen over the years guys get hot and legends be made. Here in these Final Fours or in this tournament, and then those guys we never hear from them again. Hubert Davis, but it happens. It happens every single year, and this actually isn't any different. And to be honest, to me, because all these teams are kind of random, besides Michigan State being in the Final Four, Virginia, I'm actually leaning towards Virginia because of that reason, just to see that history be made. I mean, one year they lost, this year, they back again. For them to be back again is a testament to that team, that coach, that program. After having that, absolutely, that basically humiliation is what it was. We can't.
They got beat last year. It wasn't a buzzer beater. They got ran off the court by number 16. They lost by 20. It wasn't close.
People lose jobs after getting beat like that.
Yeah, AD directors, everything like that. Interesting. The kind of the team that's Texas Tech. I'm gonna be honest. I know they played well, but I didn't see Texas Tech getting here. They're kind of like the team that kind of no one kind of knows about or sure about, but can they do it?
Again, you get down to the Final Four. It's all fair game at this point. I mean, who knew that they would get this far? They didn't come out, I guess, totally out of nowhere. Where they were a number 3 seed, right? So, I mean, it wasn't like totally out of the realm of possibility. but they put themselves in a great position. They've reached the highest height of their program. So no matter what happens from this point, they're going to be able to say, hey, we were a Final Four team in 2019. But I get the sense that they are going to go out and say, hey, we're this close, we have nothing to lose, no one really thought we were going to be here. Yeah. So let's go and ball out and see if we can take it all. So I think they put themselves in a great position. Virginia certainly, the fact that they got here is a tremendous story, and so I'm excited for the games today and to see what happens.
When you say Texas Tech, I think of Cheryl Swoops.
No question.
Pretty much. And Bobby Knight went there at the end of his career, like he was at the outpost, over there. When you say Texas Tech, love it, whatever. That's what I think about when I think about Texas Tech. Basketball, definitely. And Michigan State, Coach Izzo, I'm going to talk about him a little bit later. But the tournament seemed to be around Zion. He was with the drawing card. Everybody was there to see Zion and Duke, or see Duke lose and Zion. He played very well. I mean, he came back from the injury. There was a lot of talk after the incident with the sneaker and the knee. A lot of people said, yo, shut it down. There's too many millions out here for you to come out here and play. We see what you can do. The entree, the free audition is over. It's time to lock it up and get ready for the NBA draft. But he came back, played with the guys he came in with Duke, made a tremendous run, won the ACC tournament, and came 1 point shy of the Final Four. Now, to talk about Zion, there's a lot of up in air, and we kind of discussed this before. What kind of pro would he make? He's physically stronger than the guys on the college level, especially with the one-and-done scenarios now. You don't have a lottery pick that's in college for 3 or 4 years now. So he's playing against mostly, other guys that are one-and-done. Not a lot of senior latent teams, not a lot of veteran guys he's playing against. What's his upside in the NBA? I mean, that's been a lot of talk. Is he generational, or is he just a very good player that's coming out this year? What's your guys' take on Zion?
Well, let's put this out there. We've never seen nothing like that. Let's be real. Like, in the history of our game in college, we never seen a guy like him. Now, is he the most talented? No, but you talk about somebody who's nimble as Charles Barkley, as powerful as Shaq, and has some Dominique Wilkins. Like, we have never seen that combo before. Now, with him being so gifted and powerful, will he be able to translate his game? Because we forget that these guys are 19. Just last year he was in high school. Okay, so it's something for you to do to improve on. You're not a pro yet, right? So you are going to struggle. You're not going to come in here and just it's going to be like 30 a game or 25 a game. It's not going to happen. He is going to have to play away from the basket. Is he capable? Does he need some work? Sure. Like, I don't see him running off screens. I don't see him dribbling the ball outside the 3-point arc. So these are things that he's going to have to do, because you're dealing with professionals now. You can be bigger and stronger, but somebody can be craftier than you, so you can't run anybody. You just can't run and power everybody over.
I recently saw an interview with Dominique Wilkins, Human Highlight Film, and Dominique said, look, great athleticism is one thing, but you want to be a great basketball player. Right. And in being a great basketball player, you have to come with skill sets. Be able to shoot, dribble, go left, go right, understand how teams are defending you, understand where the double team's coming from, be able to anticipate. He said those are the things you want to be a great basketball player. You can be just a great athlete, but that doesn't going to transcend to you being a great player, and especially when you get into the professional level, because your athleticism at the high school level, at the collegiate level, can dominate a lot of people who are not on your same level. And moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see, because there's a lot of talk. A lot of people say he's going to be tremendous. A lot of people kind of have their doubts. But he definitely has to work on his skill sets and develop shooting and touch.
The one thing that's guaranteed, he's a ticket seller right now.
Yeah.
Right. Like, when you are players come along that they're dunkers, right? The oldest person in the stadium will sit down. When he gets to the fast break and gets the ball, you're going to stand up.
Yeah.
Because you want to see that dunk. So he has that. You know what I mean? You'll come to see him do that, if anything.
Fundamentals aren't selling tickets.
Right. But the thing with him, let's really start from like, you know, I'm not all the way on the bandwagon. I'm not all the way off the bandwagon with him. It's like someone told me he was going to be, you know, just a okay player. I don't got him just being okay, but somebody said he was going to be like a DeJuan Blair actually today when I was in the barbershop. I said, nah. I said, I don't have him DeJuan Blair. But I also don't have him LeBron. I do not have him LeBron. Reason being is LeBron, he has the same things that LeBron has, but we got to don't forget LeBron is 6'9". You know, this guy is 6'6". Height does play a big part in it, you know. And he doesn't have
LeBron's generational.
He has no moves. But this is what we said he was going to be. You know, everybody thinks he's going to be generational. He has no moves at all. He doesn't have a back to the basket. He doesn't have a low post game. His jump shot is okay. You know, it looks all right. It looks pretty good in college. But now when somebody's 6'7" with a hand on your face, it's not going to look that good, you know.
But he has a chance to develop that.
He has a chance, but this kid needs a lot of work, a whole lot of work.
What do y'all do coming out?
Nowhere,
you know?
He's just raw.
And
you know?
I want to preface this and kind of tie it in with the Sixers and Ben Simmons. Great athlete, great, you know, athleticism that you rely on for a long time. Now, Ben Simmons in his first 2 years as a professional in this era of basketball has not made a 3-point basket yet.
Wow.
And his I
got the wrong job.
It's like 3 or 4 games left in this season. Yeah. And this is the era of everybody shooting. If you're 6'10", you shoot. This is you can't. And it's really interesting to me that he hasn't made a 3-point basket in 2 full NBA seasons. And is that something in this era, in this generation, where you're going to get a $90 million sneaker contract, you're going to get this money up front, which really makes you like appreciate LeBron because he got money up front but still developed his game. Is the onus to develop those type of things? I mean, and Ben's a point guard. Like, he's a ball handling person. In the era of shooting, do you think that's a concern? Because maybe in the era of now, I have so much given to me so early that you may not develop those skills. Dre, what do you think? You're my basketball guy.
I think that's what's going to separate the guys from that are just that come in and they're just going to be okay, and the guys that are just going to be, you know, your generational superstar, multiple all-star type guys. You know, Zion, a lot of it, he's generational from the standpoint of his talent, for his athletic attributes. Is he going to be generational from the standpoint of work ethic, just heart, desire, and motor? You know, LeBron James, you know, was a once in a lifetime. But what we've seen the growth in LeBron James from the time that he started. Zion is similar. Similar from the standpoint of coming in with a type of height. Now it's up to him. The upside for him is, I think, anything. I think he has that much talent. But I can't say at this very moment, you know, whether he's going to be one of the greatest of all time. I say that he has a potential. Is he going to, what's his leadership skills? You know, that's going to be key, because he's going to go to a bad team, maybe the Knicks, and maybe they're not going to get the free agent signings, and now it's going to be all on him. How does he handle that? Is he going to be a guy that's going to stay in the gym and stay off of Instagram and just, be, focused on
a lot of social media now, more so. So, fast forward that to Ben Simmons. Yes, I think it is extremely odd that Ben Simmons has been able to go this far and not, develop some sort of outside game. I think there is hope. I think a lot of that falls upon the coaching. Coach, absolutely. Coaching.
And so that's going to be, for Ben. Same with Ben. Ben is a very good player. He made one All-Star game so far. Is he going to be generational talent? Multiple All-Star, one of the greatest of all time. He better have a jump shot. He better learn some moves. He's got to get stronger. He's got to get tougher. Those are all still sort of question marks right now for Ben Simmons. And so I think it's, what do you do once you get the opportunity? Not what, who cares what you did before you got here? Your athleticism and your talent got you here. Yeah. This NBA is a different level. What type of NBA player you're going to be is going to be determined a lot by what you kind of do off the court in developing your skills. And Ben hasn't done enough yet.
Now, here's what I think about Ben Simmons. He knows his role. He stars in his role. And he loves his role. So you may not have to be a three-point shooter, okay? He has a role, and if he has other players around him, he might not need to be that three-point shooter. His role is I can score this way, I can score that way. I don't need to shoot the ball 25 feet from the basket. He knows his role.
If he has what happens with guys, what happens with guys like him. Yeah. He does do things well, right? He does do things passing. He does well.
His
now,
IQ
what happens with guys like him? If you have a superstar next to him, a guy that can fill it up,
that's right.
Then we don't focus on the things that
he
can't do as much. But because he doesn't have it, we're focusing in on you're 6'10". You're supposed to be able to do this. You're supposed to be able to do that. That guard, that two guard who can fill it up. We'll be worried about Ben Simmons making that right pass all the time and saluting him for doing that.
But the interesting thing is when Jimmy Butler is down and Milwaukee's in the building, and competitively the Greek Freak is dropping 45 in your building.
No excuse.
And you don't have Jimmy Butler. I need more than 6 shots from you.
Absolutely.
I need more than one shot in the first quarter.
And that's the Magic Johnson.
Shoot, you're not going to get it.
But that's the all-time great. That's the Magic Johnson. That's the. Like you said, I think.
Magic needed to make that hook in Boston Garden. He made that hook in Boston Garden.
I think what we talking about, it's up to the individual. You know what I'm saying? It's up to every individual person. Like you said, shout out to LeBron when he got all that money up front. He still did what he had to do to become great. And even in the middle of his career, he recognized that he still needed something else. And when he went to Miami,
of course,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. He pushed through. So it's up to these guys. Ben Simmons, if he wants to develop his game further, if he just wants to stay where he is, and it's going to be up to Zion. Because unlike Ben Simmons, at least Ben can pass, and he can dribble, and he, you know what I mean.
He's like one. Ben is one, and it's interesting because you're going to play basketball your life, and shooting is just.
Yeah, I don't understand that, but I see whereas he can do those things, but it's like when we look at Zion, outside of getting to the basket, what can he do? Mm-hmm. I guess that's what we'll find out next year. Yeah. Because
too soon to tell.
Right, the NBA is going to take those things away.
He didn't need to do that now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that was the same thing with Ben Simmons. He didn't need to shoot a jump shot, so he got to the basket. He did what he did, and now we see where, okay, that's the deficiency in his game. He needs to develop that. So we're going to see with him next year, with that strength and everything, can he develop to become the next level player that people, his ceiling is high. So can he? Is he going to be willing to develop himself?
Man, look, you take
to reach his ceiling.
I mean, I'm in the draft board. I'm taking him number one.
Of course.
Also, we can't forget that. Guess what? Some guys, they just not shooters.
Right.
Exactly.
Like,
that's
they can practice all they want.
I mean,
I
disagree with that. I disagree.
Hey, I disagree. The proof is there.
The proof is there on both sides.
It's not there with him.
This is where I was going. I disagree because
case in point,
when Jason Kidd was younger,
Sam Perkins.
When Jason Kidd was younger, he was more of an attacker. Ben needs to be an attacker. Right now, he needs to attack the basket. Like you said, he needs more than 4 points. So while you can't shoot, you need to attack. Ben Simmons.
Right. If you can't do that, then
Jason Kidd developed that 3-pointer and lasted another 7 years.
He did.
Yes.
Vince Carter developed that 3-pointer and still playing today. Right. Jason Richardson developed that 3-pointer. These are all dunkers. Developed that 3-pointer.
And it don't have to be a 3-pointer either. You
no. To make them respect.
Be a scorer. Be a scorer.
You know the name of the game is making somebody respect.
You have to respect.
Nobody's supposed to be standing 10 feet off of you.
Yeah, right.
That's basically. Hey, isn't that saying I dare you?
Right.
Yeah.
What was his name? Williams. What was the point guard that was on the Sixers? He wasn't a shooter, but he ended up becoming like a shooter for the Sixers.
But my thing
is, I think it was Williams. He played with Iguodala in that.
Lou Williams?
No, Holiday. Drew Holiday?
No. He came like with. I remember. I'll bring it back.
But my thing is, in this era of basketball, where guards are 6'6", 6'4", wingspan 7 foot. The court is compressed. You're going to have to be able to. That's why everybody shoots threes now. 7-footers, 6'11" guys, because
They're spreading the floor.
They're spreading the floor, which opens the lanes.
Yes,
up
it does.
Absolutely.
And so I think in this era of basketball, having some type of threat at shooting, they may not. You don't have to be 44%, but you definitely have to be able to shoot it. You definitely have to be able to have that in your arsenal.
He didn't get drafted by the Sixers.
Yeah, you have to, man. It's something that you need to have in your game, and it not only helps you, it helps everybody.
Yeah.
And one thing about Zion too, when you look at the game, like you say, we talk about everybody shooting. We see guys that are 6'10", like Kevin Durant, 6'11", they still shoot fadeaway jumpers so they can get that shot off.
Yes.
They not just rising up to shoot
Right.
because they still would get a hand. So now because they're so tall, they can shoot that 1 foot, fadeaway that nobody could block. But they had to develop that shot because the defense and the contest in the NBA is real.
Yeah.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
So even though it's a lot of tall guys in the league that can shoot, everybody can't get their shot off, and it's for the special guys can get their shot off. Right. Regardless of whatever your height is, Allen Iverson was 6 feet, he can get his shot off. The special guys can get their shot off. So
the
Zion is
individual.
going to have to develop some type of game to where he can get his shot off. He's going to have to find a shot that's his shot
And I think
be
he
able to
will.
get it off.
I think he
Barkley
will.
was 6'4".
Here's
I
how
see
I
his
see it.
energy.
shot
I
off.
see his energy. I see it's something about him that says I'm going to do this and I'm gonna will myself.
He
in
has
it.
to wanna do
I feel
it.
that. I
He
feel
has
he
to-
And you can
wants to
see
do
it.
Yeah.
You can see it. Here's who I think Zion's going to be. Well, right now I think he's a mix between Darryl Dawkins,
Chocolate Thunder taking them
Darryl Dawkins,
Jonathan-
Charles Barkley, and Karl Malone. I think he will take those three that I believe he is
a
like,
lot of testosterone
and then,
right there.
and then turn into LeBron James. That's what I see.
I don't know about Karl Malone.
That's what I see.
But
And
I
those
see-
guys,
You know what I'm saying? His size, his strength.
Those guys had to develop that
I see
jump
one
shot.
player.
They had the power game.
Karl
Barkley,
Right.
Karl Malone, and then they developed that jump
And
shot.
I see he had that right now.
Yeah,
I think he'll
yeah.
turn into
Yeah.
the skill set
Right.
similar
Because he's
similar
quick
to
be,
LeBron.
to be as big as he is. He's quick.
I see-
Yes, he
Yeah.
is. Aggressive.
And I
I
think
see
if he
grab my
trims
mom.
that 280 down to maybe
Yes.
I see
260,
Larry Johnson.
I see Larry Johnson.
Oh,
That's
Larry
a-
Johnson.
that's
I
a good one.
forgot about
I see Larry Johnson.
Grandmama.
Who developed a 3-point shot. You know, I see Larry Johnson when I see
that's
that.
like a shorter, explosive guy.
Yes.
Yeah, I see Larry Johnson.
Athletically explosive, but then had to develop other things, other ways of scoring. Because of the NBA, you got trees in there.
I'm gonna throw a
got
monkey
trees.
wrench in the whole game. How about I'm gonna draft him #1 in the NFL draft and let him play
That's a
tackle.
possibility,
Let him
too.
play
Yeah,
tackle.
hold
Let him play
Play
tackle.
tight end. They play
Tight
tight
end.
end.
Tight end.
What you want to do?
They don't hit. They don't hit anymore. Those,
They don't hit it.
You know, actually coming off the end, defensive end with that speed.
Oh, that too. Outside backer.
Unfortunately, he'll make his NFL money in his rookie contract. So
Yeah.
he's not gonna go.
Pretty
those
much.
Those power forwards weren't getting on the football field in the '80s because they could hit back then.
You got some
Jack
shout-outs.
Caden, shout them out.
You got some shout outs. Mr. David Harper, what's up, cuz?
Hey,
How
what's
are
up,
you?
cuz? How you doing?
Miss Danica Venable, what's happening with you?
Hey,
Thanks
how you
for
doing?
joining.
Thanks for joining us.
Raquel Brickhouse, how are you? Mr.
That's a
Ishan
name right
Brown.
there. You know the Commodore?
Yes,
It's a
Commodore.
brick
Yes,
house, right?
Yes.
Real house. Yeah. Mr. Iron Mike Starks,
Live up to that one.
Kareem Kumar, Ted Davis, Mr. Robert Barham. What's happening? Thanks for joining.
That's definitely. And I want to jump into Coach K real quick. A lot of All-Americans tend to talk is, what's up with Coach K? I mean, he's had a lot of talent in the last few years. Not his usually how he started off with Duke, where he had guys 3 and 4 years like
He
that.
woke up.
And now he's going into the one-and-done situations, but he has not been able to get the job done. Is Coach K kind of missing the point here? What's up with Coach K?
Trying to feel his way through this whole one and done
Yes.
thing.
Yes. It's
I
tough for
think,
some coaches.
I think it's
It's over now.
He's
right?
trying to. Now it's over. It didn't work out that well for him. You know, I think he has a program, and he wants to develop guys, and
Yes. Yes.
and
That's his premise.
nobody's bigger than. He's not used to guys coming and being bigger than Coach K.
Correct.
Coach K,
right.
I'm Duke. You know, the court's named after me.
Right.
You know, I own this program. I brought it from nothing to now. Now he got these guys, these one and done guys come in, and they are the program. And you know, he's trying to, from a coaching standpoint, trying to manage all that. You know, that's probably caused a few sleepless nights for him. Yes. Talent aside, because he knows that it's more than just talent that wins championships, and he's about winning championships. And what wins championships is talent, but it's also culture. And it's hard to develop culture. It starts with talent, no question. But you got to develop culture, and you got to that's sped up now. When it's one and done, you got to try to develop that culture in 1 year, and it doesn't always work. And those guys, so he has tried to figure that out, and it didn't. It's not. I bet you, in his heart of hearts, that's not his favorite thing.
Of course not.
He would rather, you know. I think Jay Wright is in a similar situation where, you know, got caught up. In a similar situation where, you know, they weren't necessarily one and done, but he had guys leaving the program before he could really develop them. Now he was able to squeeze 2 chips out of it, which was great, but then that left a big void. Those guys, 2 guys leaving, 2 more guys leaving this year that shouldn't have. You know, with DiVincenzo and the other power forward guy, you know, leaving earlier than expected. Now he's like, man, you know, I wish I had those guys this year. And you get, again, trying to balance that great talent, but
gotta be tough.
But guys that I want to nurture and develop a program and win. So I think Coach K got caught up in that. He'd rather just be, look, if you go into the pros, go. Give me the rest of the guys, and I'll develop a good program, and I'll coach them, and I'll get Duke back to the nurturing status.
Nurturing is going by the wayside. I see it as the new revolution, like Prince in the revolution. This is a revolution now.
Yeah, there's too much money involved, and I'm pretty sure that Coach K got a little bit of pressure, even though it's Coach K, because he wasn't getting those guys. Zion and R.J. Barrett and Cam Reddish was playing for Coach Calipari. They were going to Kentucky. And I'm pretty sure that Duke Coach K, somebody, you know, whispered in his ear, hey, you know, it's been a while since and now he started getting these guys, but I know we got to know for a fact that he don't like that a guy like R.J. Barrett, I'm not saying that this happened, I haven't heard anything like that, can say, hey, you know, we're down 1. Let's get the ball to Zion. Zion, go to the basket. You're either going to get fouled, and then R.J. Barrett just takes the last shot and, you know, whatever he does. I'm pretty sure that Coach K is not used to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When not even when he's coaching Team USA is he used to that. You know what I mean? But this guy, I'm pretty sure that the way Zion was going and the way that game was going, he didn't draw that last play up for R.J. Barrett. I'm pretty sure.
I thought that was questionable.
And especially with the big with them having nobody in the middle that can stop Zion from getting to the basket. And I just know, and I know, like you said, in his heart of hearts, he doesn't want to have to coach guys that he know he's only going to have for 1 year. I can't put my imprint on them. I can't develop these guys. I can't nurture these guys like you say. So those guys, Zion and those guys, R.J. Barrett, they probably won't have the same. I'm pretty sure they don't have the same relationship that a guy like, say, Grant Hill or you know,
it's different time.
Johnny Dawkins, those guys have with.
They're not buying in. They're not going to buy in.
Well, they already know
3 years.
Right. They're not buying in.
Listen, you hear Michael Jordan often, and Kenny Smith and all these North Carolina guys, they often quote things that Dean Smith said to them.
Yeah.
You don't hear these you don't hear these one and done guys really quoting their, you know, I learned this from my coach.
We just passing through.
Let me say this. I'm not they didn't make the rule. So those guys should have been able to go right to the pros instead of, you know, putting up this farce. So you got to go to college, and they didn't make that. So, you know, they just did what they had to do. So by no means am I blaming the kid. I just know that these programs, these top programs that don't have to have these kids, they don't want them, but they have to play by the rules of the game that's played now.
Right.
And, you know, so I'm pretty sure that that's part of the reason. They had a lot to do with the NBA changing that rule. Right. You know, these guys, we don't need the
let's be real, right? Like Zion, while he was in high school for senior year, he knew he was going to the pros after 1 year.
Absolutely.
Forget about what Coach K was recruiting. He was
that's
already.
What makes it a farce.
He was already.
That's what makes it a farce.
Yeah, so I know I'm going. So it's just, you know,
because he's seen people before him do it.
Yeah, and then you know,
nothing new.
back in the day, nobody was thinking about going to the pros in high school.
No.
You know, you knew
Very
that
special.
you had
Had to
to
be
you
very
knew you had to
special.
go
Yeah.
work
to those
freshman.
letters.
Now junior year, you lit the tournament up, and you were like, all right, then I'm hot. I'm going.
Right. Junior
But
year.
now it's like in high school, I may do this one probably next year, or I might even go to the draft. Like that's on the table for you already. You know what I'm saying? So these guys got that in their minds already, walking around in high school.
It was on the table for him in
So
high
it's
school.
tough.
In high school.
Yeah, people coming from Michigan State. Tom Izzo, back
H
to
to
the
the
Final
Izzo.
Four, back in the Final Four, looking for his second, looking for another title.
He needs it.
He needs it.
Yes.
He
When's the
definitely
last time
needs
Izzo got in? When was it?
It's been a few.
it. It's been a few years.
But the fact that he only has one,
yeah.
he needs multiple to take.
Yeah,
him
he might-
to
yeah.
have credibility.
How many years has been there? How many
Team
years?
Cleaves and
Oh, he's
over
been
there.
there.
Yeah,
20
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
Izzo's been there for a while.
Right, 25. But yeah.
1999, because they were going to party like it's 79 and 99. Yeah.
That was the last time he got in?
Yeah, I think he won the
He got
championship.
one. That's the last time he won.
All right, so
He won the
yeah, this might be
championship.
him this year. This might be hit. For
I
him.
like the
That's
way
who- that's-
I like the way Izzo plays, the team plays. It reminds me
Responds.
being a football guy, the way they play, the way they attack the backboard.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
That's what I like. That's what
Michigan State
they-
will win it.
They were my pick. I would think we picked a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Or no, I was here. Y'all, I wasn't here, but I commented. But
Right.
they were my
Hey,
pick.
hey,
I
Doug.
would like to see Virginia win, but
Sidebar, back to what we were saying about Ben, this jump shot. Andre Miller, somebody developed a
Andre
three-point
Miller.
shot.
Andre Miller.
Point guard for Utah.
yeah.
He took Utah to the
Yes.
championship game.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Lost
It's
to
funny how
Kentucky.
Yes, he
it's
did.
funny how Sixers leave the Sixers and do very well somewhere else.
Definitely is the other Gonzaga, or if I've dubbed them Gagzaga,
Zags.
the Zags.
I saw that on your page.
Again, losing.
And they got more athletic, quote term, got more brothers, on their team this year, and they still couldn't get it done. Is Mark Few? Is he? I mean, he built that pro. I mean, is he?
Yes,
on the
he
hot
did.
seat? I mean, is he on the hot seat? And I think he shouldn't be.
He's not on the
I
hot
don't
seat.
think
No,
so.
not at
He's
all.
not
I
on
don't
the
think
hot
it's
seat.
enough
Not at
colleges
all.
in a 1,000-mile radius for him to get out of here.
Not at Gonzaga. If he was at Kentucky,
Right.
yeah,
If he was somewhere
one of
else.
those teams,
Yeah,
maybe,
he'd be
but
done, he'd be done.
there, nobody
Nah.
else is going to do
They
there.
love
what
the
he's done.
fact that
Correct.
people do know their program. They're
Right.
not a
Yeah,
Cinderella.
That's what they're happy about. They're happy about
They're
that.
not a Cinderella
And we
anymore.
weren't always-
And we
And people are actually going to go to Gonzaga.
Yeah, he's raised the
Beyond
profile.
John
Right.
Stockton.
Yeah.
Like
That's the only thing I knew about him was that
Because
John Stockton
we
went there.
didn't
That was
know
it.
we didn't know who Gonzaga was for a
Right,
minute,
absolutely
and
not.
he made him
And the
super
thing-
relevant.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he's not
yeah.
going
The
to.
sweet, and we can't forget the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is the Sweet 16 and Elite 8.
no
So if he gets there, not
He's
to say
good.
he needs to be okay with
Yeah,
it.
but you should on talent get to this.
It's-
If you're number one in the
it's still Elite 8.
So to have them as a number one seed in the tournament,
it's still
in the West Coast Conference, and
That's the
that's
other thing.
a big chip to me.
They beat Duke at full strength earlier this
Yeah,
year.
that's a big chip. I mean,
call
he's a
it
good
East-
coach.
call it East Coast
We'll go to
bias.
the other spectrum now. The University of Kentucky.
Uh-oh.
And they
The
have.
cash cow.
They said they're going to give John Calipari a lifetime
Yes, I'm thinking about
contract.
that.
Why
a
not?
lifetime contract.
Why not?
Now, in the
He's
last
brought
10 years,
everything there.
He's in the last 10 years, he's number one in tournament wins, number one in wins, number one in Final Four
He earned it.
performances, 19 lottery picks. And they're really, but it's interesting because Calipari has made a few stops that have been on probation.
Yes,
like,
yes.
now, like when he was in Memphis was getting the Derrick Roses and things like that. He leaves Memphis.
Don't forget
Derrick-
UMass.
Derrick Rose, they got
So-
Derrick Rose, John Wall.
So let's be
Tyreek
real.
Evans.
Let's be real. Those sanctions don't matter because I remember I seem to remember, or it's been I can't recall the last time a team got on. I know they give the wins back. They give the Final Fours back. They take the banners down.
yes, they take them, yes.
I don't remember them ever giving the money back.
Yeah.
though.
Oh no.
So
Yeah.
so
You're 100% right.
Money don't change
Calipari
hands.
is the coach.
Money don't change hands.
10 years from now, he does something and they find out that he
Right.
gets them on probation. They'll get rid of him. And then I'm sure that'll be a clause in the contract. They'll get rid of him. But that 10 years worth of hundreds of millions of
keeps.
dollars that he
He
made,
generated, yeah.
Kentucky will keep that. So they willing to risk him getting them on probation.
How about this? How about we stop talking about it if somebody get in trouble?
I mean, but it's interesting because you've seen what's going on now, and we talked about this on a few earlier shows. The pay-per-play FBI investigation into college basketball, and people were doing some fetty time, and for this going on, and it's really interesting, and that you see that it's all about wins and losses and generation. A place like Kentucky, where basketball is king, you know, over everything else, and the Kentucky is really their sports team and everything down there. That it's all about winning. This is big business. So when we talk about kids going one and done, and we talk about Calipari about to get a $48 to $50 million contract, the Zions and these guys in the world, they don't want to do 2 or 3 years in college. They want to go and get their piece of the change while they're hot.
One correction though, it's not all about winning. It's all about money.
Yeah, it's about money.
It's all about money.
Wins brings money. That's what they.
It's all about money.
Hey, I tell
It's all about
tell yourself real quick, if it's your son and he's projected to make $30 to $40 million at 18, you're gonna leave your job and go move with him.
We out.
Yeah,
That's all.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah,
all. You just
exactly.
gonna go. Dad's retiring.
Yep.
You figure
Because you're gonna need a babysitter at 18 and 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
in this age, right? Anything you could pretty much say if they wanted to stop anything, they could stop anything. Just say, for instance, the drugs in a certain community. You wanted to stop drugs in this one street. You can just put a cop car there and that'll stop the drugs. If you want to stop the corruption at college, right? When these teams get put on probation, instead of taking the wins and the scholarships and all of that stuff, make them pay the money back.
yeah.
Charge Kentucky $1 billion because that's what y'all made while he was there.
Right.
And
Nice.
I guarantee you then,
Nice
I guarantee
Vegas,
you then
Vegas.
they'll stop hiring these shady coaches.
Nice
They'll
stuff.
put more clamps on these guys and what they're doing. If I gotta, so if I don't benefit from you doing what you're doing and me looking the other way, if I gotta pay for you doing that, then I don't want you.
Extreme
Hey,
penalty, not
you
to
understand what I'm
slap on
If
the
you
wrist.
do that, we won't be living in America.
Yeah, absolutely. But
That's right.
So that's why
Look
you
at
know
every other
that's-
industry.
That's why you know this whole thing is a farce. So when people start talking about one and dones, and, the money they make, and we can't pay players and all this other job, and they get an
you can
education.
pay who you wanna pay.
It's like, I don't want to hear that, man, because everything in this country is a capitalist society, and everything is
It was
about
born
money.
that way.
Hey, listen,
Money.
Yeah.
a lot of bags got dropped off in the backyard with 100K in them.
And I'm taking it. If my son, if somebody show up, a bag man show up with a bag of money, say, we want your
spending
son to
that.
come here, I'm taking
I'ma think
it.
about it.
Put
The
me on
phrase-
record, I'm taking it.
The phrase is, if you're not cheating,
Doug is
you
joking.
ain't trying. That's what they say. That's what they say.
If you
I'm
not
taking it.
You're not trying.
That's right.
Everybody's
That's what they
getting
say.
paid. I'm getting paid too.
I mean,
You know
that's
what I'm saying? I'm
that's
taking
the name of the game right now. I mean, if you look at the endorsements and the way you break it down is, it was like Nike goes to Coach K, like, we want you guys to wear Nikes. Here's $70 million.
Yes.
I'll come out of high school and say Nike wants me to wear their sneaker, and they give me $1 million. Oh, that's wrong. That's
You can't
corrupt.
do it.
You can't do it. Whatever.
It's wrong.
And we talked about that, earlier in the season with North Carolina, who seems with everything that goes on in North Carolina, from grades to cheating or anything.
Yeah.
Those schools don't get cut down. When they had them limited edition Jordan for North Carolina that they were given to the basketball team said the sneakerheads and the sneaker boutique shops want $800 for these. I'm not wearing these. I'm giving it to them for that money.
I'm selling that.
And,
yeah.
and then everything came down. Like, well, how can you blame them if you're going to give me a pair of sneaks that somebody's making $700, $800 for?
And I got them for free.
Didn't
Didn't
the quarterback for Ohio State sell his jersey and he got in
tattoos.
trouble?
Yeah, he signed
Tattoos.
his jersey and got in trouble. Yeah.
and
Why
for
they
tattoos.
always trying to stop something?
You figure
They.
since
Capital T-H-E-Y. They. We know who they are.
Since we got a like a University of Miami legend guy in here, I remember hearing a story a couple weeks ago about what Deion Sanders told. He said they were playing Miami, and the Nike rep came in their locker room and told him not to spat his shoes because this was a big game and they wanted everybody to see the Nike on his shoe. And he told dude, he said as he was getting his shoe spatted, you ain't paying me. You better go tell Coach Bauer not to spat his shoe.
Nice.
Cut the check.
Yo, I mean, like, it's capitalism, man.
Duncan said the NCAA has exploited more kids than the coaches.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's about
The
money.
coaches are just tools for the.
And they exploited
But they
them
making good money. The
They
coaches are
exploited
making
them too.
Hey,
the coaches are making good money.
Shout out to Duncan.
And the
They
good
exploited them.
coaches know, like I said, like I've always said this: if you're at Iowa State or you're at a mid-major and you got a kid on your team that's giving you, 12 and 10, hard-nosed kid, coming from family, goes to class, does everything. But that 12 and 10 glue guy and leader of this team has gotten you to the Sweet 16 and almost to Elite 8 twice. Now the University of Iowa is looking at you, and you're about to make generational wealth. So if a booster on campus is giving this kid a little bit extra money, you're going to, in your heart, you're going to say, well, this kid is getting me a $14 million contract. Why would I be upset if the booster made sure he was fly tonight? Or
It happens.
And fly could be $1,000.
It happens.
Yeah. So why? And hey, look, you took care of this kid.
And I knew the jig was up when you get in trouble for buying kids pizza and cheesesteaks. It's like, huh? What do you mean? Like,
Coaches leave in the
once
middle
you
of the
come
night,
in, once you come in
every
that
year.
living room and you take this kid and you take him 1,000 miles, maybe 2,000 miles away, you're looking at the parents saying, listen, your son or daughter doesn't have anything to worry about. So what that means to me is I don't need them calling home for money and talking about they're hungry. So I need to go in my pocket and I'm making 6 figures to give them groceries for a fridge or to make sure they have meal money. I'm doing that. I'm doing it,
and I can tell you about that.
I'm sure you can.
In our segment.
Hey, like I said before, some people eat cheesesteaks and pizza. Some people eat steak and lobsters.
And I remember as just a regular college student having that call home to dad, trying to act like I was concerned about other things. Like, hey, Dad, how's it going? Did you get the roof fixed? How's Grandma? Grandma in church and everything like that?
Waiting for him to ask the question.
Right. What you need, son?
By the way, the account, the bank account, the checking account. I only got like $9 in there, and I got to get this textbook, the whole 9 yards. Definitely, but definitely. And that's the whole thing. But we got Mr. Jason Hicks here in the building. In the building.
Welcome.
The U, University of Miami.
The original U.
No, the original U. When the U was the U. The invention of, as they say, swagger. Started in the 80s.
We invented swagger.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, our team
they invented
swagger.
Invented swagger, and I got a little information here up on him.
But first, I want to thank everyone for inviting me here.
Oh, okay.
This show is a fantastic show.
Anytime.
Yes.
Red carpet treatment, brother.
Definitely, and we glad to have you here, trying to expand and definitely do big things here, display scream glory. But
what is this?
This is you, 1984. Just let you know, Mr. Hicks was a quarterback. Arm talent. Definitely. Team of the century. Played one of them. And can you talk about Jason, how these are just guys you grew up with? Like, you guys played together since like Little League, whatever. It wasn't this new corporate magnet school thing where where you're pulling kids together, recruiting, getting kids all over. You guys grew up together.
Some animals on that. Some animals on that list too, right there now.
Yes. We all grew up PYAA, Pennsauken Youth Athletic League. We grew up all the guys from the neighborhood. And the thing about why I believe our teams were so good is that when we were 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we would take a group of guys and go to other towns and play.
Okay.
We played teams from all over South Jersey because we wanted to be the best. And what's amazing, we felt that to do that back then. They don't do that now.
Right.
Kids don't go anywhere to play. They don't get 5, 10 guys and go run ball 20 miles away. So we played against a lot of different talent, and we stayed together especially from since we were 10 to 18, and it was the same guys. We played for each other. It was a fabulous time.
Build a relationship.
Oh, definitely.
Yes.
And that's key.
Yes.
We got a picture here. You down at the U.
The Orange Bowl.
The Orange Bowl.
Famous Orange Bowl.
What's wrong with the hand though? Like,
no.
look at the hand.
Yes, I taped up both hands. Just so it was like was power.
So you didn't have gloves back then.
My fingers. No, I didn't want to wear gloves.
Okay.
So we taped everything together so I could use it to also hit with my hands.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was hitting hands
And,
too.
and the knuckles and the hand placement. Yes, the guy in the picture is from New Jersey, so he retired to Miami, and when he heard I was on the team, he couldn't wait to meet me.
Oh,
Good stuff.
Great
Good
guy.
stuff.
Definitely.
Great guy.
And I got another picture here. You know this cat?
Oh yes.
Big bro.
Big bro.
The one with the
Yes.
giant rings on both fingers.
Yes, it was.
I hope Dwight's watching.
Dwight, tremendous defensive back in that Ronnie Lott. That they came in '82 together. Ronnie Lott, Hicks, and all them. And
Well, he'll be on the show. We got to kidnap him though to get him here, probably.
we get it, but beat my Cowboys. Yeah, but definitely. Yes. Can you talk about having older brother that is in the pros, and did it put a lot of pressure on you to follow in his footsteps? Everybody look. Well, we got the younger brother. The younger brother's always better. So
right.
So can talk about having a brother, a big time all pro safety in the NFL. In the family, and how that was for you.
Well, as a kid, I mean, when you are, you play sports and everything is, sports driven in the 70s and 80s.
I grew up in that time too.
Yes,
Yeah,
70s
exactly.
and 80s. Having a brother play professional football was huge.
I can imagine.
I mean, we were the coolest family around. I mean, everyone's, Dwight this, Dwight that,
Looking out the window across the street, seeing who's coming in and out.
Yeah.
Yes, and to see my brother when I was a freshman in high school, when I was a freshman, he played for the 49ers, and that was his first Super Bowl, 1981.
Yeah.
And
the catch game.
Yes. And he was the captain of the defense.
Oh wow.
He's out there for the coin toss. It was the Hicks and Hot Licks. That's what they were called. That's
Straight
what they were
80s,
called.
baby.
Yes,
Straight 80s.
Hicks and Hot Licks. It was a fabulous time to be a part of that. And he was a special player.
Oh, definitely. Well, I want to get and talk about your conversation down at the University of Miami, the U, going down there, the invention of swagger. At the time, college football was just about. I really think the Miami or the Dame rivalries. Yes.
Duncan said, "Great to hear from a college sports legend." Just wanted to,
Oh, cool. Thanks. Definitely. That's what we
Thank
do.
you,
It's
thank
Sports
you.
Talk live from the culture.
I'm a legend. Now I just happen to be there. Just happen to be there. Very, very fortunate.
And down at the U, and when you talk about it, Michael Irvin's, the Jerome Browns,
That list is so long.
Yes.
Hey, so he asked you, what do you think about the XFL pulling kids from college?
Oh, we're gonna get that from high school.
Okay.
They're talking about getting kids from high school too. They're talking about the XFL.
He wanted you to chime. He wanted you to chime in on that.
We'll chime in
Yes,
and answer
okay.
that. Definitely down at the University of Miami, the invention of swagger. It started, and back then you had Miami, Florida State, and you had Florida. So
Florida, yes.
You had only 3 D1 big time schools in that state with that talent, and the coach Jimmy Johnson and his predecessor Howard Schellenberger.
Yes.
Schellenberger started the ability that we are roping the state of Florida. We're not letting like the Anthony Carters go to Michigan, things along those lines. Like we're going to keep all that talent in there. Talk about it, because I think it really became big because they really promoted it. It was almost like WWF, good versus evil. They tried to promote,
Of course.
and just for the marketing, whatever. And I supported the U. Like I was
Thank
like,
you.
Hey, you could dance.
Yeah.
Oh.
Definitely. Just talk about the atmosphere, because you guys were a small school. You weren't like the University of Michigan.
We were independent.
Small school, not like the University of Michigan or whatever. You couldn't have a lot of walk-ons or things like that. You really had. Can you just speak on the whole atmosphere down there in the 80s?
We were an independent school of about 17 to 20,000 students.
Small school.
Very small.
Unbelievable.
Back then, Howard Schellenberger started. As you said, he went into the inner cities with his pipe.
Yeah.
Went to the homes of those inner city kids, and whatever he said worked. It worked.
Yeah.
Because he's the first one that did it. He brought tremendous talent.
He kept Highsmith and Bratton.
Yes, Melvin Bratton, Highsmith.
Yeah.
Yes.
Eddie Brown.
Eddie Brown,
Brown,
Willie
touchdown,
Smith.
yeah.
Yes. Oh, fantastic. So he was the first. He was the
Yeah.
first to go down there and keep those players here. And without him starting that, it would never be what it is today. And then Jimmy
Jimmy
took over and put it to the stratosphere.
And the interesting part about Jimmy Johnson, we have a picture up here with you and Jimmy,
Yes.
wishing you the best and everything. Jimmy Johnson, as when you look at Jimmy Johnson, you see him, and now he's on TV.
Yes.
Because he was a psychology major, and talk about his
Masters in psychology.
Masters in psychology. And he really was able to use his master of psychology to build your guys' temperament and mentality to like invincibility. Like you couldn't lose. Can you talk about that?
You're hitting nail right on the head. He, like Coach K, he groomed us. He made us believe that we were, as you said, invincible. It would be 95 degrees, 2-a-days.
That's when you could practice.
Yes, 95 degrees.
Was water still a reward back then? Because I know water was a reward. Like if you do it right, you do it light. You do it wrong, you do it long.
He would say, "Trainer, they're getting waterlogged. Get that water out of here."
95 degree heat.
Yes, but when he didn't want us to drink too much, he didn't want us to get too full on water. So I mean, he was a master at making us believe that we were the greatest. He worked us hard. He was all about the business of football. And I'm gonna tell you one story about Jimmy. What he said. Now, when we were growing, we were the Muhammad Ali of college football. Yeah. We told you we're going to beat you. We, as we're playing, we're telling you what's going to happen next play. And I'll get to that on an incident about Michael Irvin. So when we were growing, becoming big, and the country did not partake in in our swagger.
Of course not.
The majority of the country didn't like that. We were the best, number one, and a lot.
And you were laying some wood to some traditional.
Yes, laying the wood to Notre Dame's 58-7, 24-0 with Tim Brown. Beating all these
all time.
Look at the young Mike. Look at the young Mike.
Beating all these
but
perennial
the other teams
teams.
didn't understand it either. The swagger.
Correct. They didn't understand it. Now, the media didn't like us. They would talk about us, calling us hot dogs, this and
colorful.
that. Yes,
literally
convicts. As Notre Dame said, Notre Dame, which is, to me, that's a hate speech. They called us and made T-shirts, Catholics versus convicts.
Yes, sir.
They have no idea what that could do to the country when a team like Notre Dame says that. Now, not only was the country not liking us for our antics on the field, but our president didn't like it as well.
University president.
Yes, our university president, and Jimmy Johnson said this in practice: "You just keep winning, and I'll handle everybody else." That's all we needed to hear.
The prayer said that.
That's all we needed to hear.
The prayer said that, huh?
No, Jimmy Johnson said that.
That
You
means
just
I got
keep
your
winning,
back.
doing what
I
you
got
do.
your
Just keep
back.
winning, and I'll handle everybody
I
else.
got your back.
Exactly, and we did it, just like Muhammad Ali.
Wow, that's tremendous.
Yes,
and definitely like at the time, and when you're playing in those games and on those road trips, and going into different events and arenas, when you're a school of only like 17,000. A lot of times, you're definitely, when you're on the road, you're not bringing a whole lot of people with you.
No.
And when you go to bowl games, you're not.
No.
If you're not playing down in the Orange Bowl, like if you're going on different bowl games, or if you're going
back
to
then, especially back then.
if you're going to especially back then, if you're going to the Fiesta Bowl or going like that, not only you guys winning, but you're not bringing a whole bunch of other people to kill out the noise.
It was all us.
Crowd.
It was hostile.
It was like
all
hostile. And to be able to do that is just incredible, because of one of the things, the school being so small, and that's what I felt a lot of people never really realized about when Miami started, how small the school was to have a football. The football program almost didn't make it.
Yes, back in the late 70s, they were thinking about suspending play.
Yeah, and they got Jim Kelly. and
Yes.
Jim Kelly.
Yes,
Also,
Jim Kelly.
O.J. Anderson.
Anderson, yes.
O.J. Anderson. They had
Yes.
some play. Ted DeStork Williams, the
Yes, he
Hurricane.
was there too as well, yes.
He was there. Went on to play for the Raiders. So you have a school that's so small. They come up and be able. That's just for the talent level to be able to recruit. And a lot of things what people don't understand, when you have a small school, you don't get the walk-ons that you have because it's a private school and it's not a state school, so it's a private school. The tuition is high,
Right.
So you don't have kids that can come out and make tuition or trying to get a state loan or a grant or whatever, just to be like, look, we got 100 people here. We're going to do this. Or, you're going to be on the team. You may run track, you may this, but you really going to play football. You guys didn't even have the ability to do that. So the ability to find talent and guys that play just is crazy. Can you just speak on the practices? I want you to talk about that.
Yes.
Just speak on the competition because there's so many first round draft picks and pro players.
Yes.
Just in the practices,
My time there was from 85 to 90. We were 55-5 in my 60 games there. 2 national championships, and if we won,
and if they had a playoffs, if they had a playoffs back then, y'all might have a few more.
If we would have won just 3 more games, I'd have 5 rings.
Wow,
just 3 more games.
Wow.
As you said, we got the talent from the cities, and then Jimmy started spreading and coming to New Jersey, coming to California, going to California.
Now that was Nebraska
New
recruiting
York
territory, right? Nebraska used to come to New Jersey and really
yes,
Nebraska
they did.
stayed around
Yes,
into
they
the 90s. They came all the way in New Jersey. But
Rozier, they got.
I'm gonna give testament to Jason right now, and this is about recruiting, and everybody knows this about recruiting. It's 3 states, right? If they recruit you, if you're from New Jersey, just to let you know if you're a baller. If California needs you, you a baller. The whole nation knows that you're a baller. If Texas needs you,
another powerhouse,
you are a baller. And if Florida needs you,
those 3,
you are a baller.
Yeah, right.
So
Those
it's
3.
easy for you to go to any other school in the country if those 3 states need you. So that's a testament to Jason right there.
No, definitely.
As far as practices, with the amount of talent we had on the team, there was not much separation of first team and second team. They were all first teamers because of the amount of talent we had on the team.
You're talking about 4 and 5 star athletes.
Yes. You'd have second teamers in 2 years, they're in the pros. Third teamers in 2 years, they're in the pros. So practice, we fought each other in practice. When I say fight, I mean fight. Wow. I fought. Greg Mark fought. We had Michael Irvin fight. I mean, Michael Irvin would say to Benny Blades, another All-American. Now, Mike played wide receiver. Benny's playing free safety. He would say in practice, Benny, you may be, this is a true story, you may be All-American, but can you stop this? This in practice. This in practice. Okay? We'd have knockdown, drag out fights in practice. So then when it came to the other team,
it's easy. It's easy now.
They were in trouble.
Y'all had real games in practice going on.
Yes.
It was real live games going on.
Yes, because our first team defense put against the first team offense, you're talking about a battle.
And that's the best in the country.
Yes. I talk about a battle. Jerome Brown against trying to get to Vinny Testaverde. Alonzo Highsmith. Cortez Kennedy. Another Hall of Famer. Going against our offensive line. So I'm talking
Daniel Stubbs,
Danny Stubbs, Greg Mark,
Jersey boy, right?
Yes,
Jersey boy, right?
Greg Mark, who played with me in high school.
Yeah.
We went down there as a package deal. So we were not only ferocious, but we were fearless against anyone else. We knew we were going to beat you. Here's a great story. We were going to play against in the Orange Bowl for the national title against Oklahoma. Brian Bosworth.
The Bos.
Jamel Holloway.
Yeah.
Keith Jackson, who played for the Sixers. We became friends later because when he went to the Eagles, so we used to hang out. So we had guys, Melvin Bratton, him and his roommates, calling.
True story, fellas.
True story, right here.
Calling Brian Bosworth's room.
The hotel room.
The hotel room.
You call this man's hotel room.
This and said who it is. And then hung the phone up on him. Bang! Before the game. That's who we were. We were Muhammad Ali of college football.
And he probably told Bob what's going to happen on. Yeah.
We didn't care. And if you look at the tape, at the coin toss, at the coin toss, Brian Bobs was out there and some other players and our players. It was
Smith was
4 of our players.
Yeah, Highsmith was one of them, I think.
Yes. And if you see, and it's on YouTube, and you see our stars looking at them like Mike Tyson used to look at
just ice grilling them.
What I'm about to do to you.
Yes, and told them it's over. At the coin toss. Watch it, look it up on YouTube.
We are. Don't worry about that. We are.
And that's who we were. We felt our preparation was unmatched.
Right.
And Jimmy cultivated us to feel that way. He said, okay, it's 95 degrees, it's 100 degrees. Ignore the elements. And that's all you have to do. And that's what we did. And I still use that today. Whatever I do, I ignore all elements and whatever I do.
And
the noise and
just
block it
real
out.
quick about your recruiting process.
Yes.
Was there any other schools in contention, or it was like, yo, this is Miami? I'm honored that Miami's call, and I'm going to be there.
Nice. One of my top schools were UCLA. I want to go there and play quarterback. South Carolina, North Carolina, and Michigan. Those were my top 4. Michigan was
Dwight,
there.
right?
Michigan was there only because my brother Dwight and Ivan both went there. And I wasn't going to go there because it was cold. And I told
you got a taste.
Yes. When I was a freshman, Bo Schembecker was at the house, and getting I because I was a senior, and they told me I have a scholarship when I become a senior. But I kept telling Ivan while he was there, and I was in high school, I'm not coming. Tell him, don't even come see me.
Wow, you telling us the Bo Schembecker?
Wow. I was like, bro, tell him I'm not coming.
Wow.
But it was amazing. It was amazing.
And what was the selling point? Like, what
here's a selling point for Miami. I was a senior in high school, and Miami was playing Boston College. And
don't tell me Flutie.
Doug Flutie threw the ball 60 yards.
No, not that one.
And got behind our DBs. Wow. And I also played safety in high school too. Got behind our DBs. I saw the play and I said, "That's where I'm going. They need defensive backs."
There you go. Wow.
True.
Because that would have never happened if I was there.
I'm down. That never gonna happen.
Yes, and then Jimmy himself came to our school, and I was in lunch, and he pointed. I saw him with Coach McEnany, and he pointed to me. And he came there to get me, Dave Griggs, that Dave later played for Virginia.
Yeah, he went to Virginia.
And then played for the pros, played for the Chargers. He started as outside linebacker. So he came to get myself, Dave Griggs, and Greg Mark. Yeah, so we all went to the trip to Miami. Those two went first. I went the following week. Wow. Yeah, so once I got there, it was
it sold itself.
It was over.
Palm trees, look, palm trees and Luke.
Yes, and then
don't forget about Luke.
And then they had Dan Stubbs, who was All-American.
Yeah.
Oh, he's on the same recruiting trip with you?
No. He was the guy that would show me around from New Jersey, from Red Bank, New Jersey.
Yeah.
So we had needless to say, we had a very nice time. Recruiting trip.
Nice.
Of course.
Nice. That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Jason, what do you think about football now today? I mean, there's a lot of concerns. A lot of parents are thinking about not letting their kids play football, CTE, a lot of things.
Yes.
What's your take on the environment around the game? You love football. I love football.
Yes.
I mean, everybody here, played it. I was not a great athlete, but just, typical high school player. Just love the sport, 185 pounds and want to and desire. And developed a lot of things and skill sets and disciplines that have helped me later in life, playing athletics. What's your take, surrounding football, the direction it's going with contact and the direction it's going with some people saying, hey, I'm not going to let my kids play. What's your take on that?
Yes, I love the game of football, and I coach high school football now.
Okay.
I feel, yes, the game is getting softer, as we say, softer, which is a fact. But the thing is, over the last 7 to 8 years, the CTE issue has come to the forefront. And because of that, the world has to change. And now high school coaches have to implement, get your head out of the play. We do hawk tackling from the Seattle Seahawks. So we model what the Seahawks do in their videos. So we teach our kids now get your head out of it and just use your body. And then as you hit, you're not so much driving anymore. It's grab,
twist,
and turn turn over. Which is sometimes tough to do.
Yeah, and I think
it's tough to do. And the problem is you have to now it's making everyone think about the tackle, which is causing problems in the NFL as we're seeing now. Which someone cannot try to make a tackle and the quarterback is falling or moves and you're coming 100 miles an hour, and now you have to think. Where my head's going to be when I do try to get out of it, but the quarterback now moves that way. It's a terrible time now in football. But I do understand the issues at hand.
And it's different because like you have a lot of coaches your age, a lot of coaches my age, and it's a total different concept. Because when I grew up, the coaches wanted to find out who's going to stick their nose in there.
Exactly.
They wanted to find
exact
out,
words.
Yeah, the exact words. We want to find out who's as they say now, who's about that life. The coach is like, I want to see if you're going to stick your nose in there, put your head in there, and now you've come 180 degrees, totally different.
Yes, we have.
And you're trying to coach, and do you find yourself torn because, you don't want to get waterlogged or whatever, but now we got hydration, we got concussion protocol.
Those laws have changed too.
As you, of an old school guy, do you find it difficult sometimes?
It kills me.
Yeah.
Yes, it kills me. Because also I coach freshmen at my school. I coach freshmen, and this is where we had to really teach them now. We're in high school. They're in high school now to get their head out of the play. But also you have the parents, and more mothers than fathers are in the kids' ear about, first off, if they even let them play. That's the first thing. Right. And if they do let them play, they're always in their son's ear about don't get hurt. Okay, now that is creeping in your mind at practice. And I see the direct link, correlation to when I see a guy running full speed and then he gets there and then uses his arm to tackle. Right. And I'm like, I'm throwing my hat down.
That's why you got shoulder pads, right?
You're doing the Vince Lombardi. Grab. Everybody grab it out here.
It's tough because now you can't now. The controls all the offense. They have all the advantage.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, yeah.
You can catch and run for 1,000 yards. You can run much easier without getting slobber knocked.
160 pounds.
You're just roaming about the field with no fear.
Right. It has created fear. It has created fear in our young kids, which it's making more. It's less tackles are happening.
Just say it, man. Just say cream puffs.
But I do understand. I do understand the issue, and we do have to change with the time as revolution. We talked about with Coach K and all the college players and the one and done. So it's a revolution now.
Do you see it becoming more of a passing game? A lot of more 7-on-7 competitions. In practices, I hear a lot of there's traveling 7-on-7 teams now where they just do catching and things along those lines. And then how do you develop offensive linemen? How do you develop defensive linemen? In this era of limited contact, limited hitting, is it more difficult to define or just to find some guys that can block, shoot some guys that can, like you said, that can tackle? Just the inner line play. There's no big man camp. There's no camp for 5-on-5 in between the trenches.
In the trenches,
Oklahoma
you might be on to something.
The Oklahoma drill.
But
We call them ding dongs. We call them ding dongs. Bowling Ring, Oklahoma.
Yes.
we would do that to find out, like you said, who wanted to put their nose in there,
Right.
and we're going to start from that. Dre wants to put his nose in there. All right, now we can tell him the techniques to play corner or whatever. But we know when they run the option, he's going to have no problems coming up, and taking care of business.
Right.
Here's what we've gone from. When I was at Miami, we'd have the inside drill, they called it. You
hated that
you
drill.
just had 2 tackles,
Headache drill, we called it.
2 guards, and the center, a quarterback, and 2 running backs. 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers.
Yes, sir.
And you know it's a run play.
It's all about hitting.
It's called the inside drill. Wow. And this makes young boys to men.
Oh yeah. Where you going? Ain't nowhere to go.
Ain't nowhere to go, nowhere to hide because it's on tape.
You're going to get hit.
So
And they're filming.
I moved from safety to linebacker because they said, Coach Wanstead said, we like how you hit. So that was a new thing for me to play linebacker. Okay, but back to your question. We've gone from that inside drill to parents calling me because they knew me from high school, and they say, Coach Hicks, now there's this flag football league that I'm thinking about my son.
They told
playing.
that to the old schooler, not the new
So-
schooler.
like,
So
don't-
now
don't-
there's flag
don't call
football
them-
leagues.
Now you- now
This
you-
is what
you-
has transpired.
You're competing against
flag football leagues now. So that's out here now.
Sidebar real fast. Duncan just said that it's going to flag football.
Exactly.
Just-
I'm
he
getting
just said-
calls from parents that knew me in high school that were a couple years older than me, but knew me from my brother Ivan. So they'd call me and say, and ask me, should my son play football? And I would say, yes.
So you had to drop down from safety, and they threw you right in the inside.
Yes, he said you have to gain weight.
Yeah.
Get in the weight room. So I got to Miami at 180. Left there at 237.
Don't start telling on yourself.
Hey,
Hold on, hold on.
there's 237.
Hold on.
Listen,
180 and then what?
Listen.
180. I got
Listen.
there 180 and left there 237.
That's almost 60 pounds.
It's
yes.
No, was that
It's
the
only
80s?
it's only a
That's
few
the 80s.
people.
I'm gonna leave it like that.
It's only a few people that understands having to take on a fullback,
Yes.
play after play after play on
Yes.
inside drill.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's only a few people that understand.
So I
animal
played quarterback and safety my entire life, and then within 24 hours, we're moving you to linebacker.
Right.
Okay, so
Where
that
all
was
the action is at.
And,
Yes.
and it's not enough to just
But
take
I
him
loved it
on, right?
because
You got to make
I'm
that
aggressive.
tackle too. You got to make that tackle.
You gotta make that
You got to
tackle.
take him on and make that tackle.
Yes.
Joe Pa tried to make Jim Kelly a linebacker.
Yes, he did.
And he went to the University of Miami to play quarterback.
Yes, he did.
So, athleticism, quarterback. And when you're a high school quarterback, you're definitely an athlete, so they're going to look to move you to a different position.
Yes.
Now, Jason, as an African-American quarterback playing in high school, and did you want to play quarterback, or did you have, at that time, not a lot of African-American quarterbacks being recruited to play drop-back passing?
back then. No, there
Because that was
wasn't.
in the 80s too.
Yeah, that was
Right.
in the 80s
Jamel
too.
Holloway.
But did you
That's
feel-
all I was.
Major
was
Harris.
a drop back quarterback.
Yeah. So did you feel some type of way about that, or you just know that's just the way it was at the time?
At that time, I was young. I was 16, 17. That wasn't really on the forefront of my mind.
Yeah.
I knew I could play quarterback because my whole life I was a drop back passer, and that's what UCLA wanted me as, a quarterback. And here's a
Flick of the wrist.
yes, and here's a great story
Yo, tell us. Tell
about
the story.
UCLA. I didn't go there, but my career in Miami was up and down. I was in the doghouse sometimes, and things happened. Some things were my fault. Some things weren't my fault. But Jimmy saw the whole. He's called the whole picture and grouped me with a kid that was always getting in trouble. But that's not me. So that caused me not to get a lot of playing time. Although in practice, what did Jimmy have me do? He had me play the best player on the other team. So I would play Steve Atwater at free safety. I would play Jamal Holloway at quarterback when we played Oklahoma. So he knew what he was doing.
Right.
Okay. So I believe that helped our team. Me doing different things. I played outside linebacker in practice and became an outside linebacker. But back to the story. What's an incredible story is My first year there, when I got in trouble, the first week of practice, I was sent home. Actually, the first day in pads, I was sent home. Now, my brother Dwight told me, when you get there in practice, first day of practice, you let them know who you are. Okay, so I was hyped first day pads. I mean, the first couple of days was just shorts. It was just running cardio.
It's time to start hitting now.
Yes. So the day in pads, I'll make a long story short. I wanted a certain pad, and I'm listening to Run DMC, and I'm getting hyped. And I asked the trainer for a particular pad. I said, "Hey, Marty," and he was on the phone with, I believe, Nike, and they were having an argument. And I interrupted that, and he took that conversation, angry with Nike, to me, and said some choice words to me, and said, "Get the hell out of the room." And I said, being me, I said, "Marty, please don't talk to me like that. I'm not any of your children." And I walked out. Now, that's not disrespectful, but I'm not supposed to say that.
Right. Especially then.
Right.
Yeah, 1985.
So, this is the first day of pads. I've been only been there 3 days. I'm listening to Run DMC. Someone smacks my headphones off my head from behind. I turn around with my fist. I turn around with my fist. It's Jimmy Johnson. Tells me, get up in my office. So to make a long story short, I was sent home. And things just kept going seemingly that way. But here's a story. I wanted to leave after 3 days. So I called Dwight, my brother, and I said,
Who's out in California?
in California, I said, I need you to make a call to
Just
Coach.
won the Super Bowl.
Coach Donahue.
Terry Donahue.
Coach of UCLA.
And said, and set up me coming there. My big brother said, hang in there. He did the big brother thing. Hang in there. I respect that. And I stayed, which I'm happy with that. But here's the story behind that. That same year, months later, we played Oklahoma.
Somebody got their leg broke.
Troy Aikman was the quarterback for Oklahoma. And Jerome Brown broke his leg in the game. He never became their quarterback again. Jamal Holloway never relinquished that spot. He transfers a year later.
Option.
Yeah.
He transferred a year later. Where did he transfer to?
UCLA.
UCLA, where I would have been there a year earlier. I will leave it at that. True story.
Tough spot for you.
Yeah.
Tough spot for you.
Hey, listen, you wouldn't be here now. You'd be still in sunny California.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes.
Definitely. Fellas, this has been tremendous. Jason,
sir.
open invitation, man.
I thank you.
You got
Red
this
carpet
all,
treatment, brother.
We gonna need some more of them you stories, man. We
Yeah.
might that after dark thing
I
we was
don't
talking
know,
about. We
man.
might have to
I
explore that.
Again,
That after dark segment we was talking about.
we definitely. I want to thank
Need
you
some
for
of them
your
Uncle
insight.
Luke stories.
And look,
If I can I tell you one quick story?
Yeah, go ahead. Surely.
All right. One quick story about Jimmy and the culture. We had a player. Oh, I'm sorry. It was the offensive coordinator. Okay. We were in practice, and our offensive lineman kept missing the play. He kept letting the guy in. He kept making mistakes during practice. And Gary Stevens, Wizard, offensive coordinator, Wizard. That's what we called him. He said to the player, he said, "God damn it." I won't say the player's name, but he said, "God damn it." He goes, "Son, are you on steroids?" And he goes, "No, coach." And he says, "Well, you ought to be, you sorry son of a bitch, because you can't stop anybody." Great, funny story.
Go get on him, huh?
We died out there in the field when he said that. Hilarious. Those were the times.
I was definitely vaccinated. Man, they were taking them at Millersville. But
Damn. Great story. We laughed all day about that.
Oh, wow, man. But once again, and look, we do a lot of youth stuff too. We do Friday Night Lights. Maybe if you're coaching or whatever, we can get over there and do a Friday Night Lights. We go mobile, definitely, and you get to
Big
come
mobile.
in. And we also talk to youth coaches. So definitely we'll have to
Fabulous.
sit down, and we always love to get input and just give input to to parents, with of student athletes. They're all the information they can get. We try to be a source for them. We have athletic directors on, and definitely want to have you back and definitely use you as a resource to run some things by.
Thank you.
Definitely at your coaching and keep working with the youth and doing everything, and it's just been tremendous. Great time down here.
Wonderful time.
Yes,
man.
it has been.
Wonderful time.
Yes, it has been. Fantastic, guys. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you. Some great talk. Some great talk.
Come back.
Absolutely.
Come
This
back.
is a great show.
We can write a book.
It's a great show.
Definitely.
Oh man, I would love to do that.
Sports Talk Live for the Culture. Final Four. We'll find it out. Monday will be a championship game. Yo, Jonathan, you free Monday?
Yeah. You hear that? You hear that? Yeah.
We'll talk about. We might do some squawk, or I might televise the game.
You go ahead and do that.
We do some live commentary on the Final Four. But once again, Jason, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Dre, thank you for coming
Absolutely.
down.
Fantastic.
Dre, the True Sports Talk Live for the Culture. We out. Peace.
Peace.